The Giants finished 3-12-1 last season, but after the first 4 weeks of Season 3, they find themselves at 2-1 and leading the NFC East. Meanwhile, on the other side, the Falcons and new coach Mitchell Stanley are off to a 4-0 start and have their eyes set on postseason football as they look to make it 5-0 today. Opening drive, and you've seen the Ray Gilbert trick shots. Well, here's a Kevin Rose trick shot as his pass is caught, stripped, bounces around, and is caught again by Saquon Barkley for a 20-yard gain. Next play, and Rose hits Sterling Shepard on the slant for 10 more and another first down. Then facing 3rd and 8, it's Rose with a screen out to Barkley, but Deion Jones is there and drops him for a 6-yard loss. And with the wind at their back, the Giants decide the opening drive is a good time to kick a 61-yard field goal. Aldrick Rosas's kick is no good, and the Atlanta offense takes over in Giants territory. And on their first play, it's Gilbert throwing quick to Julio Jones, who has the first down and lots of room to run on his way to a 23-yard gain. Next play, and the chains move again as Gilbert fakes and fires his pass into Austin Hooper for another 14 yards. Then with 3rd and 3 from the 4, Gilbert throwing again, and his pass is nearly intercepted by the nose tackle Dalvin Tomlinson. Falcons send out Roland Ford, who easily puts through the 21-yard field goal and gives the Falcons a 3-0 lead. Atlanta gets it right back, and Gilbert has McCole Hardman over the middle for 17 yards on a first down to start the drive. 4 plays later, and Gilbert throws the screen out to Casey Rivers, who gets a couple blocks and has the first down and another 18 yards down to the Giants' 33-yard line. 2 plays later, and Gilbert is on fire as he finds Kyle Woods wide open for 19 more to move the chains again. Next play, and it's Woods on the ground this time as he takes the jet sweep for 11 yards down inside the 5 to make it 1st and goal. And that leads to Casey Rivers scoring from 3 yards out for his 6th rushing touchdown of the year and giving Atlanta a 10-0 first quarter lead. Ensuing drive, Giants facing 3rd and 4, where Rose fits a pass into Evan Ingram, who has 19 yards on a first down right to midfield. Then to end the first quarter, the Giants get another new set of downs on the Rose to Nelson Aguilar 12-yard connection. Later in the drive now, 3rd and 11, where Rose fires down the seam, but Deion Jones knocks it away incomplete. Giants send the field goal unit out, and Aldrick Rosas nails the 41-yard field goal to get the Giants on the board and cut the Falcons' lead to 7. Falcons turn again, and on 3rd and 6, Gilbert stands in before moving to his left and firing across his body to Austin Hooper for 13 yards to convert. 2 plays later, and it's Gilbert to McCole Hardman this time, and he turns on the Jets as he takes it for 34 yards down to the Giants' 12-yard line. Then facing 3rd and 10, Gilbert looking to throw, and he's going to escape the pocket to his right before being tracked down for the sack, and it's the former Falcon, Tack McKinley, who puts an end to the Atlanta drive. Roland Ford comes on. His 33-yard kick is right down the middle, and the Falcons' lead is pushed right back to 10. Giants looking to answer, and on 3rd and 1, it's a play fake to Barkley, and Rose has Evan Ingram wide open for 19 yards across midfield. Then with 2nd and 10 from the 47, it's Rose standing in and delivering to Dante Moncrief to pick up 18 more. Next play, and the draw goes to Saquon Barkley, who shows off his moves as he spins and then turns on the jukebox, picking up 15 yards and another Giants first down. Then on the following play, Rose drops to throw but can't find anything open and keeps drifting back until Solomon Thomas takes him down for the sack, and a 12-yard loss pushes the Giants all the way back to the Atlanta 25. And with 3rd and 21, Rose throwing and goes deep to the end zone for Nelson Aguilar, but it's too strong and incomplete. Aldrick Rosas once again comes on and makes it 2 for 3 on the day as the 42-yard field goal cuts the Falcons' lead back to 7. Atlanta wants points before half, and their first play is Gilbert going to Julio Jones for 12 yards on a first down. 2 plays later, Gilbert with the fake to Freeman and goes to Julio Jones again for 16 yards into Giants territory, but following the tackle, he gets up and decides to do the Colin Kaepernick because he's injured. Jones, the trainer, and his bouncing neck dreads head to the locker room for further evaluation, and he would not return. And on the following play, it's more bad news as Gilbert's throwing and tries to force a pass, but it's intercepted by Logan Ryan, who brings it back to the Giants 45, and the terrible decision will now give New York a chance at points before half. Then out of the 2-minute warning, Rose looks to throw and finds Saquon Barkley over the middle for 15 yards down to the Atlanta 35. 2 plays later, and Rose goes back to Barkley, this time on a screen, and he's got blocks and the first down as Desmond Trufant saves a touchdown on the 20-yard gain. And with 3rd and 9 from the 14, it's Rose back to Barkley again, but this time he's tackled shy of the marker. Giants run the clock down, send out Aldrich Rosas, who makes his third field goal of the half, and the Giants head to the locker room trailing 13-9. Falcons start the second half with the ball, and their second play is Casey Rivers right up the middle for 13 yards and a first down. Next play, and Atlanta's into Giants territory as Gilbert fires to Kyle Woods, who comes down with the 19-yard catch. 2 plays later, and it's Gilbert right back to Woods, and he has him for another 20-yard gain to make it first and goal. And on the following play, Gilbert throwing again, but holds on too long and is driven to the turf by Dexter Lawrence for the sack. And that leads to third and goal from the 17, where Gilbert again looks to throw, fires to the end zone, and Calvin Ridley makes the catch. Ridley gets up and says to Ron Franks, "Your team, whack. Your coverage skills, whack." An 11-point lead, tight as Giants looking to answer, and their second play is a give to Saquon Barkley, who has a huge hole and picks up an easy 14 yards and first down. 2 plays later, and it's a screen out to Barkley this time. Deuce Douglas whiffs, then gets sucked into a block, and Barkley is up the sideline for another 17 yards into Falcon territory. Next play, and the chains keep moving as Rose stands in and delivers to Dante Moncrief for 11 yards and a first down. Then second and 8 from the 29 turns into first and 10 at the 18 as Rose hits Evan Ingram for an 11-yard gain. And make it first and goals on the following play. Saquon Barkley takes it right up the middle for 16 yards down to the Atlanta 2, which leads to 2 plays later where Duncan Bushy drives his way into the end zone from a yard out for a Giants touchdown. And looking to make it a 3-point game, New York lines up to go for 2, where Kevin Rose drops the throw but is hit immediately by Maurice Ramsey. Ball is out and scooped up by Kari Richmond, but Rose takes him down and the lead remains at 5. Atlanta looking to answer and facing third and 4. Gilbert fires quick to McCole Hardman, who has the first down and 23 yards into Giants territory. Next play and move those chains again as Gilbert goes short to Kyle Woods, who picks up 10 yards and just enough for another first down. Then on the first play of the fourth quarter, Gilbert drops the throw, fires deep to the end zone, and it's Ronald Baldwin with the 20-yard touchdown catch, and Baldwin's first career score gives Atlanta a 12-point lead. 5 plays into the ensuing Giants drive, and Kevin Rose converts the 3rd and 10, finding Dante Moncrief for 13 yards across midfield. 3 plays later, 3rd and 11 this time, and Madden AI strikes again as the Giants run a draw to Duncan Bushy, who picks up 4 yards. A field goal does virtually nothing for New York, but they send out Aldrich Rosas, who buries the 61-yard field goal into the net, and with 10:50 to go, the Falcons now lead by 9. Giants with a chance to get it right back, but on 3rd and 2, it's Gilbert to Austin Hooper to pick up 6 and move the chains. Next play, it's Devontae Freeman on the counter, and he's got a huge hole, 14 yards, and another Atlanta first down. Next play again, and one more time, it's a first down as Gilbert connects with Kyle Woods over the middle for 12 yards into Giants territory. Then facing 3rd and long from the 39, Gilbert stands in and delivers to a wide open Austin Hooper for 15 yards to move the chains again. 3 plays later, 3rd and 9, where Gilbert fires to McCole Hardman, who has 22 yards and a first down just shy of the goal line. And on 3rd and goal from the 1, Gilbert with the play fake and throws on the run out to Devontae Freeman, who can't hang on to bring up 4th down. But when you need 12 inches, there's only one man you call, and that's the exterminator Jordan Buggs, who pounds his way into the end zone for his first touchdown of the year and gives Atlanta a 16-point fourth quarter lead. And then the final blow comes as Kevin Rose fires to the end zone into double coverage, and it's intercepted by Keanu Neal. And the Falcons, who were winners of just 7 games last season, find themselves at 5-0 after 5 weeks. Ray Gilbert has another strong day, throwing for 362 yards. Casey Rivers adds another touchdown on the ground, and this Falcon team looks like a force to be reckoned with moving forward, and will take their show on the road to Jerry's World next week to face the Dallas Cowboys. And make it 5-0 as we continue to roll and take down the Giants. Interesting game there as the Giants quarterback was Kevin Rose, who was the first quarterback taken in my first draft, which was the same draft where I selected Ray Gilbert. And Rose is the reigning rookie of the year as well as a superstar X Factor, while Gilbert is only a superstar dev, but he outplays Rose here and wins their first meeting. But some really bad news following the game as you saw Julio Jones go down and he suffers a torn pectoral muscle, which means he is undoubtedly out for the season with no chance of returning, so a huge loss for the offense. We are, however, somewhat prepared for it with Calvin Ridley, Mecole Hardman, and Kyle Woods on the roster, and Woods will now play outside along with Ridley, while Hardman plays inside in the slot. And with Julio Jones going on IR, we had to fill his spot on the roster, and that was done by signing outside linebacker Justin Hollins from the Broncos practice squad. Hollins joins a paltry outside linebacker group and gives us another potential option and possible increased depth moving forward. As for our breakout scenario with Solomon Thomas, he ended up finishing with 2 tackles and a sack, but the requirement was 2 sacks, and I also didn't hold the Giants to less than 75 yards rushing either, so no upgrade, and Thomas will remain with a star dev. Moving on to negotiations, we start with Foye Oluokun, who I signed to a 3-year, $6.15 million contract with a $1.8 million bonus, and I actually considered letting him walk, but with as cheap as he was asking, I decided to keep him because his physical attributes are pretty ridiculous, and he's been a pretty good sub linebacker for me as well. Then next up was Deidrin Senate, who we did decide to let walk. I mentioned this during the preseason, but after drafting Kari Richmond in the 2nd round this past offseason, this pretty much became expected. Senate is currently 3rd on the depth chart, and between not seeing any snaps and not seeming likely to develop much more, it makes this a pretty easy decision. Next up, we have scouting, where there was a draft tweet this week from Matt Miller that reads, NFL draft preview, Florida left guard Tyrell Beard has finished the season playing really well. Keep an eye on him heading into April's draft. So as we shift the focus to this week's draft board, it starts at the top with Beard, and following him is a pair of cornerbacks in Joey Preston and Jeffrey Lunsford, who are both 2nd round projections, with Preston being a 2nd round true talent and Lunsford being a 1st. Then below them is a pair of right tackles in Kendall Tate, a 2nd round true talent, and Michael Acosta, who is a 4th round true talent. And lastly, for team activities is always player upgrades, where we start with Ray Gilbert, who remains at a 76 overall after receiving a 2-point increase to his short throw accuracy and a 1-point increase to his throw power. Next up is Solomon Thomas, who doesn't get the dev upgrade but does get 2 points towards both awareness and finesse moves, as well as 1 point towards his hit power, taking him up to a 76 overall. Meanwhile, rookie 1st rounder Sean Chamberlain hits a 75 overall and gets a nice 3-point bump to his finesse moves, along with a 1-point increase to zone coverage. Fellow rookie Dwayne Humphreys goes from a 72 to a 73 overall with a pair of attribute increases that includes 2 points towards both his awareness and pass block power. And then lastly is free agent signing Sharif Finch, who becomes a 68 overall with a 3-point increase to his awareness, 1-point increases to his strength and tackle, as well as a 2-point increase to zone coverage. We now go around the league, starting with week 5 scores, where the Jets win 28-7 over the Dolphins on Thursday night. 49ers handled the Texans on the road, while the Vikings, Chiefs, and Panthers pick up home victories. The Killer Bees and the Bengals, Broncos, and Beats all pick up road victories, while the Seahawks beat the Colts 21-19 in Seattle. Jaguars beat the Patriots, Bears beat the Lions, and the Saints take down Tampa Bay on Sunday night. Then wrapping up the week, the new Browns beat the old Browns 42-31 in Baltimore on Monday night. Looking at the standings and starting in the AFC East, the Jets lead the way with a 3-1-1 record, while the Patriots and Dolphins are tied for 2nd at 3-2, and sitting in last place are the 1-3 Bills. The Browns are the only team over 500 in the AFC North and currently hold a 2-game lead over Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, and Baltimore, who are all tied behind Cleveland with a 2-3 record. Similar story in the South, as the Jaguars lead at 4-1 after 5 weeks. The Texans at 2-2-1 are the next closest, while the Titans at 1-3 and Colts at 1-4 are both multiple games back. Then out west, it's a 3-headed monster as the Beats take the week off and remain in first place at 4-0, while the Broncos and Chiefs both win to stay a half game back. And then we have the Raiders. On the NFC side, the East looks like nothing special, as the Giants and Cowboys are both tied for first place at 2-2, and behind them are the 1-4 Redskins and 0-5 Eagles, who are each off to terrible starts. The North appears to be a one-team race, as the Vikings sit at 4-1, already 2.5 games up on the 1-3 Packers, 3 games up on the 1-4 Bears, and 4 games up on the 0-5 Lions. We continue to hold first place in the South, but the Saints win again and at 4-1 are still only a game back. Meanwhile, the 2-3 Panthers and winless Bucks remain multiple games back. And then the NFC West features all 4 teams over 500, with the Rams leading the way at 3-1 and the 49ers, Cardinals, and Seahawks all sitting at 3-2 and just a half game back. For the second week in a row, Browns quarterback Baker Mayfield is the AFC Offensive Player of the Week. The fourth-year quarterback from Oklahoma was 27 of 35 for 344 yards and another 5 touchdowns as he took his Browns into Baltimore to beat the relocated version of themselves 42-31 on Monday night. The offensive award for the NFC goes to Vikings running back Dalvin Cook. The fifth-year second-round pick from Florida State carried the ball 20 times for 163 yards, finding the end zone twice, and helped in leading the Vikings to a 35-17 home win over the Cardinals. Defensively, the AFC award goes to reigning sack champion Von Miller. The Texas A&M product and 2011 second overall pick was in on 5 tackles and got to Bills quarterback Josh Allen 3 times to help his Broncos improve to 4-1 as Denver goes into Buffalo and comes away with a 38-28 road victory against the Bills. Then for the NFC, the defensive award goes to Jatavis Brown of the Seahawks. The 6th-year linebacker out of Akron and former Charger takes home the award after notching 9 tackles and intercepting Colts quarterback Andrew Luck in their 21-19 win over Indianapolis. It's another complete shakeup for the passing leaders this week as Sam Darnold takes both the passing yards lead with 1,560 and passing touchdowns lead with 14 from the Texans' Deshaun Watson. And then after another strong week, it's Baker Mayfield leading the way with a league-best 130.2 passer rating. Saquon Barkley had 104 yards rushing against us and returns to jackpot status as he leads the way in all 3 categories with 599 yards rushing, 6 scores on the ground, and a league-best 8.8 yards per carry average. The receiving leaders also features a jackpot from a New York player, but it's from the Jets wide receiver Jamison Crowder, who has the most receptions with 38, the most receiving yards with 489, and the most touchdown catches with 6. Then lastly, for the defensive leaders, Dwayne McBath leads all tacklers with 50. AFC Defensive Player of the Week Von Miller has a league best 8 sacks, and Jets safety Marcus May takes over the interceptions lead as he now has a league best 3 picks on the year. Looking at next week's schedule, things kick off with the Patriots facing Houston on Thursday night. Bengals host the Raiders looking to get back to 500. Panthers head to Tampa Bay, and the 1-3 Bills travel to Indianapolis to take on the 1-4 Colts. Jets take their 3-1-1 record to Cleveland to face the 4-1 Browns. 4-0 Beats head to the Big Apple to face the Giants, while we head to Dallas to play the Cowboys, and the 0-5 Lions play host to the NFC North leading 4-1 Vikings. Jacksonville heads to Arizona to face the Cardinals, while the 3-2 Dolphins and 2-3 Steelers square off in Pittsburgh. Big AFC West game as the 4-1 Chiefs head to Denver to face the 4-1 Broncos, and then a Super Bowl 34 rematch as the Rams play the Titans. And wrapping up the week is the 1-4 Bears heading to Lambeau Field to face the 1-3 Packers on Sunday night, and on Monday night it's the 0-5 Eagles looking for their first win of the year against the Saints in New Orleans. Ravens, 49ers, Seahawks, and Redskins with byes this week. And that's going to do it for Week 5 as we move to 5-0 on the year and look forward to a road matchup against the Cowboys. Really tough break losing Julio Jones for the year, but we will soldier on with Calvin Ridley, Kyle Woods, and McCole Hardman and hopefully move to 6-0. But the only way you'll know if we did or not is if you come back next video, and I hope to see you guys back. As always, I appreciate you guys tuning in, and how about those